Hey, I'm Lynn and welcome to Little Fence Garden. I'm a North Carolina gardener, Central North Carolina, Zone 8A, and I have to garden in a very tiny space because we have so many deer. We live close to the Eno River, so the deer make their way over here. It is nothing to come out in the mornings with my coffee cup and find a dozen deer asleep in the backyard. They bed down in the pine straw next to the fence in the back. I wish it was a fence that went all the way around the yard and was tall enough to keep the deer out, but it's not. This is an open backyard with a lot of pine trees, so anything I grow, I have to have a fence. It's just the way it is. I love reuse. I'm a full-time artist, so anything that I can bring into the garden that feels like a treasure, I bring it in. This might seem junky to some people, but I absolutely love it. I add garden art and I just expand this as I'm able to. I don't really have the money, tens of thousands of dollars probably, to go out and fence this entire yard. Plus I'm in my 60s, so I have to think about what I can truly take care of logically, realistically. It's best for me to start with a small space, grow my flowers and my vegetables in a space where I can add to it a little at a time and just enjoy growing organically. I'm not sure if that pun is intended or not, because I don't like to use chemicals, but when something feels natural, it's so much easier to take care of. And adding to this space a little at a time has been the best thing for me. Let me just give you a full shot of what the entire garden looks like on the outside of the fence. It's sort of in a little corner here, makes a nice L shape. And this happened to be one part of the yard that gets enough sun so that I can grow some vegetables. There's a little bird. It's really having a good time over there. I don't know what it's found. It keeps going back to that spot. But let's keep walking around just to show you the space. And then I'll show you what I deal with on a daily, hourly, minute by minute basis. We have a lot of pine trees. Now, we have these gorgeous cryptomeria over here. I had never heard of this tree until I met my sweet Jason. Beautiful, beautiful tree. Anyway, looking back this way, we have a lot of pine trees in the backyard. It takes money to build a fence big enough to keep deer out. I have to think about what I can truly keep up with. We have beautiful quartz rock. I need to clean this up soon, and I'll try to take you along for that. It gives me something to line it's like a little playground to me. We do have a nice neighborhood cat named Chester who likes to hang out. Chester, how you doing today, buddy? I don't want to walk around too much while I'm holding the camera because this is an iPhone that I'm using, and I feel like things get a little bit grainy with too much movement, especially with all of this fencing and the chicken wire. I want this to be an enjoyable video. I want you to be able to see what's out here and not have to move around too much. I have a container of mint here, the beautiful little cat planter. The garden is truly my happy place. Like I mentioned, I'm a full-time artist and I love to make things. I love rust. I love the numbers, little charms, things that I find, old keys. So this was part of a tent, the kind you might use if you were going to go sell and put it together really quickly at a market or something. The tent was falling apart, so I reclaimed part of this accordion type structure that I was able to make it as narrow or as wide as I wanted to. I covered it in chicken wire and added all of these little charms to be able to make a little gate that will open and keep the deer out, because believe me, they will come right up to this and go in if they're able to. It works really nicely. We've just got a little latch here, also from a broken buckle. I love zip ties, they're really handy. And then we can just go right in. Once we come inside, it's like a little magical place. I absolutely love it. This garden feels small to me because a little bit of a backstory. I left a 23-year-old, very established, beautiful garden that was in an old house right in a downtown area, a little town, not a big city. So I had no problems with deer, and the soil was amazing. I could grow anything I wanted to, but I ended up having to move, so I lost that garden. I'm happy with this though. It's different, it's a challenge, and it does feel like an artsy little space where I can just add garden art and not be overwhelmed with too much of a responsibility, too many chores, you know? So this little area is just a raised bed made with cinder blocks all the way around. I added the board across the back so that I can put pots, the little grow bags or pots across here and grow things. And then I have some seeds planted in here. I do deal with slugs and snails, so sometimes I plant seeds and I never see anything. I do have diatomaceous earth that I'm putting out, and I'm trying to learn what to do to control these really cute little pests. Even coming back here, I'm wondering what has gotten to this leaf and taken all these chunks out of it. I don't see anything on there. But of course, as gardeners, we are always learning. This tomato plant has taken off great. This one I planted just a few days ago. I can tell it's already taking off. I do have goldfish in here. Originally, they were in a galvanized tub that of course was much lower to the ground. The galvanized metal is not good for fish, so I had lined it with a very heavy construction grade black plastic. They lived out here and did well all through the winter, but the plastic that I had lined the galvanized tub with started to break down, and I didn't want the fish to be able to get up under it and suffocate. So I said it's time to change. Economically, I had to think about what I could afford, so I got this heavy duty trash can, 20 gallons, and I was able to bury it in the ground about a foot. And I'm hoping that that's going to help these fish do better through the winter when it gets cold. We had some cold temperatures this past winter. I was a little bit surprised that the fish made it through, but they did. The water looks a little green right now. I did take the old water from the tub and transfer it into here, and I've added some fresh water as well. This is a planter that came from the Dollar Tree. And I love that it has this little handle because I was able to zip tie it to the frame here and let it just hang down into the water. This is a pitcher plant which overwintered as well in the galvanized tub that was out here. I repotted it, and I also recently separated and repotted some of the corkscrew rush that also lived through the winter. Those are flower petals from the ladybanks rose. Oh, I see a fish. Let's see if I can bring them to the top. It's a plant that I had never seen before. I've definitely seen asters, but this is a climbing Carolina aster. I got this at the Durham Garden Center, and it is very trailing. Look how far out this branch lays. Hey, Mr. Scarecrow. So I did put these little sticks in here to try to feed some of it up through here, and then put some of it on the arbor here. The arbor was actually thrifted, and got a great deal. I think I paid about $5 for it. I reinforced it with some metal stakes over here and zip tied it. I'm so excited to have a ladybanks rose. That's probably one of my favorite things out here. I had a ladybanks in the old garden, so this one's 3 years old. It's the first time that it's actually crept all the way over the arbor, and here it's coming back down. I do love to make garden art with reclaimed materials, rusty metal, things like the found washer, beautiful beads. And I really wish you could have seen this when it first started blooming. It's lasted a long time though. The blooms are really just starting to, they're gone at this point. But they did great for a long time. I would say over a week they were out here. So let's talk about the greenhouse. I love it. I thought I was gonna love it. I do love the frame. Let me tell you, I ordered it from Amazon, but I've never seen a protective cover break down so quickly. I ordered it May of 2024, and it is already falling to pieces. I believe the frame itself is great. I'm gonna leave that. I'm not too panicked that it's breaking down. I'm just really disappointed. You can see that it has started to develop holes, everywhere that this treated or I think this is galvanized metal. Everywhere that it has touched the cover, there are holes. So I'm gonna have to do something. After reading the reviews on Amazon, I think it's not gonna be too long before it just disintegrates. There's my grandson, my youngest grandson's little fairy garden that he plays with out here. We have rocket salad back here. It's not gonna be too long before it's too hot for anything in here. So this is a really sweet little area in the garden. I'm gonna step over this so that you can hopefully see. This is a greenhouse structure that I took the cover off of as well. And it's truly my greenhouse because this is where I grow my greens for salads. Microgreens, you have a mesclun mix here, more of the mesclun over here. These are some arugula that went to seed. I think they're pretty, so I decided to leave them. Here's a sweet little rock garden. This mandevilla will climb up here and climb over the top. And by the time it does that, it's probably going to be too hot to be growing greens out there. The walkway is a little bit narrow, but I didn't want to waste any space. If we come around here, it's truly a little orchard, isn't it? I have the peach tree, petunias, and snapdragon back there. Both of these planters are zip tied to the T-bars so they won't fall. And here is a fern that I found out in a compost. So I put some rocks around this little area and planted it next to the greenhouse where we don't get as much sun, and hopefully that will thrive. I also planted a whole lot of seeds for shade-loving wildflowers. They seem to be doing okay, so I hope I will have a sweet little flower garden here around the peach tree. And the peach tree actually has one little peach back here. Let's go back up here. And then looking back, you can see the rock garden. Some of these succulents came from my mom, who has a greenhouse, and she is so awesome at rooting things and saving things. So let's go right around here and I will show you another structure that I purchased from Amazon. I got it late in the season last year, so I haven't used it for a full growing season, but it was awesome for vines to grow on. And I do have some butternut squash planted and loofah gourds. Here we have some cauliflower seeds, we have eggplant, there's a squash out there, some flowers, another tomato plant, petunia. We have this beautiful rose. It's a knockout rose. And again, I have to keep it behind a fence or it will not survive. I'm so excited that these hollyhock seeds have sprouted. They are staying in this container. I have not had luck here at all growing hollyhocks. I mean, I'm being so protective over these. Everything I've planted out here just seems to disappear. This is a beautiful astilbe plant. It is called Dark Side of the Moon. And it's 3 years old, so it's doing great. And it has some beautiful, beautiful new growth in there. Looks really good. Coming back around this way, you've pretty much seen the full expanse of the garden as far as the size of the garden. But there's so much more I plan to do to take advantage of growing vertically, using different containers, amending the soil, and maybe even expanding the size of the garden. But it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It is something that I want to have happen in a way that feels comfortable and enjoyable. I think a garden is meant to be enjoyed. Let's close this so the deer can't get in. Thank you so much for joining me on the very first garden tour. And from my little fence to yours, happy gardening.